Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Board of Public Works meeting for today, Friday, November 4th already, 2016.
Commissioner Rivas, Repenning, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Angelica Samayoa with the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Gary Harris, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Mark Starr, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Larry Hsu, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under General Public Comment nor the Neighborhood Council Commentary section. We also did not receive any speaker cards under the regular items for today's agenda.
Okay, thank you. We'll close General Public Comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Monday, October 17th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion to approve those meeting minutes? By Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt those, or we will approve those meeting minutes. We have an administrative item. Council Districts 1 and 14. Specifications, this is agenda item number 8. Specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids for the secondary sewer for difficult to access reaches. These are the DAR contract, Northeast Los Angeles, Eagle Rock, Boyle Heights, and Los Feliz. The work estimates $4,673,715. The bid receipt date is Wednesday, December 7th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 8 forthwith? By Commissioners Davis and Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 9, the Street Lighting Technology Quarterly Status Report, Bureau of Street Lighting. It's been requested by the Bureau to continue that to Monday, December 12th, 2016, which will be our off-site meeting in Council District 15. So we will continue agenda item number 9 until Monday, December 12th, 2016. Agenda item number 1 from the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 14, Task Order Solicitation number 41 to HNTB Corporation, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue the task to HNTB Corporation, contract number 124947 from the pre-qualified on-call design and support services consultants list to provide revisions to the plans, specifications, and estimate, that's the PS&E package, in connection with the Soto Street Bridge over the Valley Boulevard and Union Pacific Railroad widening project, as stated in the task order solicitation number 41, with a budget authority of $187,391. Jean Job. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jin Zhao from Bridge Improvement Division, Bureau of Engineering. I'm here to report to you a request for board authority to issue a task to the HNTB Corporation from the pre-qualified on-call consultant list to provide a revision to the plan specification and the estimate package for the Soto Street Bridge over Valley Boulevard and Union Pacific Railroad widening project. Okay, this project will widen the Soto Street, existing Soto Street Bridge over Valley Boulevard and the Union Pacific Railroad tracks below. This is like a great separation project. And this will provide a wider shoulder and the wider sidewalks and architectural barrier. Those improvements will be much benefit for the communities. Okay, this task order is to try to obtain the engineer service of the PQOC consultant list to provide a revision of the previous complete PS&E package. The select consultant will be modify the existing complete plans to meet the latest design standards. The reason is because since 2008, we have already completed all the design. That's the so-called PS&E package. But however, when we enter the right-of phase, which including the acquisition of the parcels from the LAUSD and the USC around the area, And we take almost 8 years to complete all the acquisition, which including the condemnation. And also, moreover, we have to establish the surface maintenance and surface agreement with UPRR Railroad. As you know, it takes years to do so. So it takes us almost 8 years to complete all the, we call right-of-way phase. As such, when we try to obtain the construction fund from the California Department of Transportation, because this project is federal funding and still works by the, we call Caltrans, California Department, Caltrans. They request us to make the revision to the plans because the plans are considered to be outdated after 8 years. In our engineer field, probably 3 to 5 years considered to be current. So that's the reason I'm come to the board to ask a test order to issue to the test order to the engineer consulting firm to revise the previous complete plan, such that we can further to complete the process to obtain the construction funding from the Caltrans and to complete to start the construction. Okay, because we have made because this project was and it will be federal funding, including the design part. So the past 16 years, it has been the funding has been provided by the federal funding. For this tax, we also made a request to the Caltrans, but however, they sort of declined our application, and so that we have to use our own Proposition G funding to fund this task. Okay, the reason is they say because we take so long to complete the right-of-way phase. As a matter of fact, the right-of-way phase is a process. We need to strictly follow the federal guidelines and rules. So, but anyway, so we're here to ask board authority to issue a task order to the HNTB Corporation to complete this revision of the design. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the HNTB was the only firm that responded to the task order solicitation?
That is correct, yes.
And so any indication as to why HNTB was the only firm that responded from the 10 on the list?
We have sent this task order solicitation to all the firms, which is about 10 firms in the PQCC. And they only HNB respond, as you mentioned, and they all say either they're busy with their other tasks or they feel this task is too little for them because the HNTB was original designer, so they have much better understanding for this kind of engineer, for this business sense. So they decline. Actually, we have this email on the file showing they're not interested. So,
Okay.
So HNTB was original designer. They're the, for sure they like to continue on reviewing the plan. So we do receive other requests, but they all decline for the application.
Thank you for the follow-up. It's likely to, I'm speculating, but the other firms may have known that HNTB was the original designer as well, and so it wasn't worth it for them, given this size, to step into the arena. But I appreciate the follow-up and adding that to the oral record. Anything further on number 1, Commissioner Arcento?
Thank you, President James. Jing, thank you for the report. Couple things. One, it's good to see that they exceeded the DBE as a federally funded project at 26%, and 24% we were expecting 6%. So that's a good thing. And actually the board report's pretty comprehensive, so thank you for including all the documentation of the past transmittals and of the selection process, the matrix. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Is that a motion, Commissioner Arcento? Commissioner Arcento? Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2, task order solicitation. This is Council District 8 for Lehrer Architects, Los Angeles, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Lehrer, contract number C124698, from the pre-qualified on-call architectural and related services consultants list to provide design services in connection with the Algin Sutton Recreation Center pool replacement project as stated in the task order solicitation number 24 with a budget authority of $715,000, which includes contingency. Ejiki Maburuguru?
Correct.
All right.
Good
Morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Ejike Mbaroguru from Bureau of Engineering. We're here this morning to ask for authority to issue tasks to Lorry Architects for Argent Southern Pool. Argent Southern Pool is located at the CD8, 800 South Hoover Street. It's a pool that is highly in use, and the community are very interested in the improvement. And this improvement will increase the size of the pool and do some modifications also to the pool house. We sent out tour solicitation to 20 firms, and 4 actually responded. And the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Council Office do not want this pool closed for a long time. So part of the requirement for us is to make sure that we minimize the length of time this pool will be out of service, given the neighborhood is located. So that was also part of our consideration, which firm that is going to be capable to do this project. So as we look through the qualifications, we feel confident that we had selected a firm that has experience and has done similar projects for us in the past. And among the things we are looking at was also some business inclusion program. And unfortunately, in terms of EBE and the DVBE and SBE was 0. However, we were able to find a firm that more than doubled the WBE, also met more than required for the MBE. So we are very confident that we had a good firm that would deliver this. So we are requesting that you approve, give us the authority to issue the task to Lera Architects.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments on agenda item number 2? Commissioner Davis.
In terms of the construction of the project, what's the duration, estimated duration of time as it relates to completion of the project? Is it a 12-month program or?
Thank you, sir. Usually for pool projects, it's 18 months.
How many months?
18, but this project we are going to deliver in less than 12 months.
12 months?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
It's a big council office priority to move it to a more aggressive schedule. Commissioner Cinto.
Yeah, thank you, President James. Ajike, thank you for the report having a site visit out there and seeing, and it was right in the spring, in the midst of summer months too, so to be able to maximize the time frame for the construction, the improvements, and really to see the partnership between our Bureau of Engineering doing work with the Department of Rec and Parks, and I see Mahmoud here, and it's a great city effort when we're able to provide that services for another department and keep our very much needed city assets in play is very important. So I appreciate this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cinto. Anything further? Is there a motion on agenda item number 2 by Commissioner Cinto and Commissioner Davis? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Thank you, sir. Have a nice weekend. Agenda item number 3 this morning from the Bureau of Street Lighting, Council Districts 1 and 3, 4, 5, 9, and 14. 4 Public Works, 4 of them, Public Works Trust Fund loan requests, recommending that the board first approve and forward the report to the Los Angeles City Council, requesting first authorization of 4 loans from the Public Works Trust Fund, that's Fund 834, totaling $6,875,000, payable by the Street Maintenance Assessment Fund, that's Fund 347, to front fund the construction of 4 street lighting projects to be repaid as federal grant proceeds are received from the California Department of Transportation on a cost reimbursement basis. And secondly, authorize that grant reimbursements from the state be deposited into the Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Fund and subsequently transferred back to the Public Works Trust Fund no later than 1 week after the deposit has been made. Kearney Marine on agenda item number 3. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioner. Mr. President, Commissioners, Bureau Reps, City Attorney, and Executive Secretary. Kearney Marine with the Bureau of Street Lighting. Yes, just to summarize the report, we are seeking board approval to obtain a loan from the Public Works Trust Fund to front fund these 4 street lighting projects that are indicated in the report. These projects are on streets, major streets, that have substandard lighting that are in need of replacement. These streets qualify for federal reimbursement through the federal STP program. 3 of these projects are on Vision Zero streets, so they're very significant to us. Typically, these construction costs for the projects are front-funded by gas tax through the Capital Improvement Expenditure Program. However, the Bureau did not receive any gas tax funding this fiscal year, and that's why we are seeking this loan. We will not formally request a loan until the project reimbursement is approved by Caltrans through the E76 process. In fact, I talked to Fernando. We should amend recommendation number 1 to indicate that the loans would be subject to receipt of approval from Caltrans for federal reimbursement.
Okay, well, we can work with Mr. Campos on what our amended motion would look like on that, Mr. Marine. Just a couple of things, really not necessarily questions, more comments. There has been, and I just know this from our work with the Bureau of Street Services and presentations that I've made and communications I've had with the State Senate's Transportation Committee and the Assembly, Relevant Assembly Committee as well. The gas tax has been under some stress at the state level because people are using alternative fueled vehicles, and because we're looking for additional funding from the gas tax for our road repairs at the city level. I've always maintained that Los Angeles deserves a larger share. We'll wait and see what happens in a week or so as to whether or not we're going to have to go back to the state again. I hope that we don't have to, because I don't know how welcome our request is going to be. That said, so it doesn't surprise me that street lighting, which has gotten some front funding from that fund, is experiencing the hiccup that we are now. I did meet with the Bureau head about this, and he was delighted that the Public Works Trust Fund is available as a loan mechanism. Mr. Campos and I have been in meetings recently where, we're in the work, I think it was just the last meeting, where Mr. Campos gave us an update on the status of the Public Works Trust Fund. We are working through the process of being able to appropriately spend the money that's available in the Public Works Trust Fund on public works projects around the city. But the opportunity to front fund a public works project is exactly something that this fund can be used to do with council approval. So that said, we're happy to step in as the backup to help, at least from my perspective, to help the Bureau out here, recognizing that we have the reimbursement coming from the grant program, which the grant programs require this front funding, and we have a source to do it. So thank you, sir. Mr. Campos?
Yeah, and if I can just add a little bit more context to that, there was a presentation on the Public Works Trust Fund a couple of days ago, and just to remind the board members, we do have about $32 million in cash that can be loaned out. So this close to $6.8 million or $6.9 million loan would be part of that $32 million available cash that we have. And it's great to know that it's going to be subject to a grant award approval by Caltrans. So the recommendation to amend this report is really to approve the loans, go to the City Council to get the approval, but the loan proceeds will not be issued until we receive proof that the grant has actually been awarded to the City of Los Angeles.
Right. Yeah, which is what I thought the case was. But so it's more clear.
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
yes.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Anything further? Any questions or comments on agenda item number 3? Commissioner Davis.
I just was for just general information. So we didn't get the gas tax money this year. Is that what originally happened? You referenced that we did not have gas.
Yeah, every year we request gas tax front funding for our projects, which is repaid back. Sure. With oil prices being low and like the commissioner said, electric vehicles.
So they didn't respond to our request. You said we request it every year, right?
Oh, yeah,
I'm trying
through
to
the
get a
budget
clear
process, yes.
And we didn't get a response from them, or what
Well,
happened?
yeah, we got a response, no.
The answer was no. Well, that's what I was trying to get to the bottom line.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's the reason that we have to use this fund. Hopefully, we will be in a circumstance next year, whenever you go back, that the gas tax revenue will be available to front fund again. But if not, recognizing the reimbursement that's coming
Preparing our budget now.
from the grant program to the Public Works Trust Fund, we'll be here next year if necessary, but that's not on the agenda right now. We're looking at this year. So my motion would be as amended pursuant to the terms of clarification explained by our executive officer. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Rivas and Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, Bureaus of Engineering and Sanitation. Council District 15. This is a deductive change order number 54. The Honeywell International Incorporated for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Segment Project and increase allowance number 5. Walsh Construction Company for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Advanced Water Purification Facility Ultimate Expansion Project, recommending that the board first authorize the decrease of the construction budget and issue deductive change order number 54 in the amount of $1,746,948.10 to Honeywell for the Los Angeles Wastewater Control System Replacement Program, that's termed acronym LA-WINS, Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Segment Project, for reassigning the existing Advanced Water Purification Facility Programmable Control Module 7 and 8 hardware, software, and services to the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant AWPF Ultimate Expansion Project. And secondly, authorize the increase and issue allowance number 5 in the amount of $1,746,948.10 to Walsh for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Ultimate Expansion Project to include reassignment of existing Advanced Water Purification Facility PCM 7 and 8 hardware, software, and services. Approve a revised allowance budget of $7,471,948.10 and approve a revised construction budget of $43,306,948.10 for the project. Good morning, Amy. I'm glad you're here. It sounds from the description of the agenda that we're moving scope and moving funds to provide perhaps a revision of the use of those funds. But that's what, in summary, it sounds like. But help us out.
Yes.
So go
good
ahead.
morning. Amy So from the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. The very long wording of our request is to move work from one contract to another contract, and there will be no net change in cost to the city. To provide some background, the Bureau of Sanitation has a multi-year contract with Honeywell International Incorporated for the Los Angeles Wastewater Control System Replacement Program, and that's abbreviated as LA-WINS. This program will replace aging control system infrastructure, and this infrastructure allows remote monitoring and operations for the entire wastewater system. It will provide a uniform control system for all 4 of the wastewater treatment plants, all of the city's pumping plants. There are about 65 of those pumping plants, and all 6,700 miles of the city's sewer system. The program calls for multiple segments of work to be released at staged intervals. In April of 2015, a contract was awarded to Walsh Construction Company, and this is a $41.5 million design-build contract for the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Advanced Water Purification Expansion. And this project will effectively double the capacity at the Terminal Island plant to produce high-quality product water from about 6 million gallons per day to 12 million gallons per day. And the plant produces that high-quality product water. It's going to be through processes such as microfiltration, reverse osmosis, advanced oxidation processes, and chemical disinfection. And in the Walsh contract, there is an allowance item. It's allowance item number 5, and it's about $5.7 million is the current amount. And that allowance item allows the contractor to do procurement of control systems, hardware, and related services that will integrate the project with the plant's existing control system. The project right now is about 60% complete, and startup is scheduled to occur sometime next year. So the scope of work that we're requesting to move from the LA Winds contract into the Walsh contract is approximately $1.7 million worth of hardware, software, and related services for programmable control modules number 7 and 8. And those modules provide controls for the advanced water purification facilities, reverse osmosis, microfiltration, and chemical systems. And by doing this, we will be able to synchronize the installation of the control system with the construction of the project. This will provide a functional, uniform control system that's necessary to operate the expanded facility. Essentially, the existing phase 1 of the facility needs to work with the new addition of phase 2. Those need to be able to work together, and the best time to integrate that control system is during the construction of the project. The Advanced Water Purification Facility expansion is a fast-track design-build project, and so doing this will allow us to keep that project on schedule. So our request is that the board authorize a decrease in the construction budget and issue deductive change order number 54, and that's in the amount of $1,746,948.10 to Honeywell International Incorporated for the LA Winds Terminal Island segment project, and authorize an increase in allowance order number 5 in the same amount to Walsh Construction Company for the Terminal Island expansion project. And that will result in a revised allowance budget of $7,471,948.10 and a revised construction budget of the $43,306,948.10.
Thank you, Amy. Commissioner Repenning?
Hi, Amy. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I just wanted to just talk about, I think, the importance of both of these areas, the Terminal Island Water Reclamation plant, the Advanced Water Purification Facility there that we're building is just overall really important to the mayor's goals for increasing our uses of recycled water in order to continue to maximize our use of local water supply so that we can in the future look at decreasing our reliance on imported water. So the Terminal Island project is going to help get us there. And on the LA Wind side, it's great to see this project continue to move forward as we bring technology to how we operate our sewer system to achieve more efficiencies and cost savings for the city. So thank you for your work on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Commissioner Davis?
Could you discuss the diversity in the project? Is there any opportunity for that?
So both projects have the requirement for business inclusion program. So under the Advanced Water Purification Expansion Facility project, Walsh was required to submit to the board a list of subcontractors that they're pledging on that project. And that was when the contract was awarded in April of 2015.
Anything further? Thank you for the clear summary on what we're doing. I think it's very helpful for the oral record as well. Is there a motion on agenda item number 4 by Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioner Davis? Any objection? With that objection, Ali, I thought you were going to object for a moment. You stood right up right when I asked for any objection. Okay, since you're not objecting, we don't have an objection from the board. So we'll adopt agenda item number 4 unanimously, no objection. And I was kidding, Ali. And any issues, sending number 4 forthwith. We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, Amy.
Okay, thank you.
Agenda item number 5. I'm going to guess Let's see, number 5, request for proposals, hydro seeding and mulch spreading services. Recommending the board authorize the director of the Bureau of Sanitation to distribute and advertise the transmitted request for proposals for hydro seeding and mulch spreading services. Secondly, evaluate the proposals, select and interview the most qualified proposers based on established proposed evaluation criteria. 3, negotiate a contract with the most responsive proposers. And 4, return to the Board of Public Works for authority to award and execute the contracts. Roselia Rojo. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Very good. Good morning, commissioners, executives. I'm Rosalia Rojo with the Bureau of Sanitation, Solid Resources, Processing, and Construction Division. Our division is responsible to maintain the integrity of 5 closed landfills. The request that you have this morning is for the continuing maintenance of the closure of these landfills. The contract under this RFP is expected to be for 5 years for approximately $1.5 million, which will be funded by the landfill closure and post-closure fund. So monies will not come from the general fund. The necessity of this service is to maintain the integrity of the cover. This allows us to also ensure the health and safety of the public, our employees, and maintain regulatory compliance. Hydroseeding and mulching reduces erosion and also reduces or eliminates emission of landfill gas. This contract will also have the requirement of business participation or the business inclusion program, which by request of Commissioner Repening was increased. We have MBE 7%, WBE 5%, DBE 5%, SBE 7%, DVBE 5%, and LBE 5%.
Thank you, Ms. Rojo. Any questions or commentary? Commissioner Repenning.
Thank you, Rosalia. I appreciate your work in ensuring that we have good inclusion in the contract, and just wanted to express my support for this work. I think it's really important that we're a good neighbor, and with the closed landfills, that we're doing everything we can to ensure that we're mitigating dust and other matters that may otherwise become airborne and move out into the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Anything further? Mr. Campos, you have a comment.
I do. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. So the item before you is to approve the RFP, of course, to do the evaluations and then authorize the Bureau of Sanitation to negotiate for the contracts. However, item number 4 is to return back to the board for authority to award and execute the contract.
Yes.
Recommendation is to amend recommendation number 4, make it subject to the mayor and city council approval in accordance to Executive Directive number 3.
They have to go first. Is that correct?
No, you can authorize the release of the RFP. However, you will not be able to award
Execute
the contract.
the contract until, that's what I
Subject,
meant by
right.
they have to go first.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's only on recommendation number 4.
That's fine. Is there a motion? Commissioner Repenning, as amended, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5, as amended on recommendation number 4.
That is correct.
Okay. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6 and 7 are both related to the Lugo Street fire. So let's take those together. I'll call them together. And then we'll have Mr. Hilu present on these. Authority for expenditure in agenda item number 6 is the first one. Both are authorities for expenditure. In number 6, it's to CR&R Incorporated, Office of Accounting and Bureau of Sanitation, requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $750,000 for hauling services of construction and demolition debris from the Lugo Street fire site located at 2900 East Lugo Street for the period of October 7th, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. That's the end of the fiscal year. And agenda item number 7's authority for expenditure is to the County of Los Angeles, Department of Public Works, Office of Accounting and Bureau of Sanitation, requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $30,000 to encumber funds for the debris cleanup at Lugo Street, Los Angeles. This is to pay for the solid waste management fee of $1.50 per ton for the tonnages diverted from the BFI Sunshine Canyon landfill to Waste Management El Sobrante landfill for fiscal year 2016-17. That's from October 7th, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. And I know, Alex, even though I was out that day, October 7th, 2016, I know the board had asked for a bit of an update on the Lugo Street fire. You're here on these other issues, so you can feel free to indulge us as you deem appropriate, sir.
Oh, great. Yeah, and Commissioner Penning did a great job in your absence. So,
I don't doubt it.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Commissioners, Bureau Executive, Executive Officer, City Attorney. Alex Haru for the City Los Angeles Bureau of Sanitation. This in front of you, I put a report back on the Lugo fire. I know Commissioner Rivas was not on the board at the time, but just give you a quick background what transpired. On September 17, 2016 of this year, a fire broke out at 2900 Lugo Street. The site is occupied by Clean Up America. It's a company that does construction and demolition. They take, with all the activities happening downtown, they take the construction material, which is made of concrete, wood, metal, and there's some plastics and tires. They take this material to the site, and they're supposed to segregate them into different piles and recycle them. They also accept from other haulers who bring in material to the site. On September 17, there was a fire, was reported, the LAFD responded, they put the fire out, and they left the site. Since that time, since September 17, they got called back 8 times in that, in about a couple days. They went back and the piles were smoldering. The fire department, when they reached the site, was coming from about 40 to 70 feet height on the site. It was very huge piles of debris. And the fire department initially requested assistance from LA County under mutual aid. They requested assistance from EPA. They were unsuccessful in bringing other agencies to help them remove the debris from the site. So the fire department requested the mayor's office, and on October 7, they came to this board and they requested the Board of Public Work authorize the Bureau of Sanitation to assist them with removing the debris. So in front of you is the package, what happened before, and I'm gonna quickly go through it, what we had to do as things moved very quickly. On page 5 of the report, on Friday afternoon, after the board has approved sanitation, we met right after the board with the LAFD. We came up with a plan, how we're gonna be addressing the issue and how to move forward. I did receive the call in the afternoon of Friday from BNSF. This is one of the largest rail hauling. That's actually the two in the company. BNSF is one of them. And they said that the water from the fire, because the LAFD was putting about 400 to 500 gallons per minute to put the flames out and the smoldering, they were looking for the water to percolate down and put off the fire, which is starting at the bottom of the pile. Basically what's happening was a pyrolysis process where you have the 3 elements for fire existed, which is the fuel, you have the material, which is the wood, and you had the oxygen. And so the 3 elements caused the fire to continue. And every time the fire department stops, flame goes up, they sprayed it. The water, as you could see, was reaching the BNSF line. They were concerned about 2 things. This is one of the huge lines for BNSF, which had freight as well as thousands of commuters every single day. And they were afraid there would be some erosion of the track. So we immediately, on Friday evening and on Saturday morning, we were able to pump all the water out, establish a containment site on Clean Up America site on the Lugo Street so we can capture the water. We put pipes that we were able to drain the material out to prevent it from reaching the rail. And so that was action one. On the following Monday, we started the site preparation. The site was really in a bad shape for our equipment to come in and start removing the material. So we had to ship in gravel, sand, compacted for allowing the heavy trucks to start coming in. So we set up the base for operation. We set up and we started mobilizing equipment, moving them. Most of the equipment that we had at Lopez Canyon, we brought them down to the Lugo site to help in moving the material so we can put off the flame and be able to reach the hot spots on the pile. Then we needed trucks, and we do have contracts at Clark's. The material we have is the trailers we use is basically made of aluminum. This is heavy with construction, demolition, and metal. Is not conducive for this. So they will basically, if we drop the material inside the aluminum, it will go through the trailer. So we had to bring in a couple of the equipments we had. We also had asked for other city departments what equipment they have available for them that they can give to us. BPW Street Services helped us out. They had about 3 to 5 every day that they could allow us to use. However, they also have their own operation that they need to maintain and continue. So they said, well, if we have anything else extra, we will let you, we'll send them over to you. We need, based on my assessment to the fire department and my staff, we need about 15 to 25 trucks every single day to move material out of the site. And so we reached out to other haulers that we knew. CR&R came basically in with about 3 trucks. We asked them to see if they could also contract with other haulers. The issue is you have a huge economic upturn is going on, or you see the construction downtown. A lot of these heavy, high-end dumps that you see, and the low end is basically booked for months on end. We found out that even some of them have long-term contracts and they could not help us. But I have to give credit to CR&R. They were very resourceful. They reached out to several companies, and we were able to get about 10 to 15 trucks every single day to help with the operation, in addition to what BPW Street Services has been helping us up. We also have adjusted the operation. We started starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. We started starting at 4 o'clock, so we can do 2 or 3 loads. So this way we take in the material to El Sobrante landfill. We wanted to catch as much free traffic or less traffic jam as possible, so we can maximize the operations. As you can see, once we secured the trucks, the debris removal started. Also, big issue for us, we did not know what was the site had on it, beside the CND. We were concerned whether it has asbestos, have hazardous material. We implemented, along with the fire department, a containment zone and wash zones, and this way all the personnel have to have the personal protective equipment on them. They also have to go through decontamination, so make sure they're not taking anything back to their families. The good news, we also had industrial hygienists on site to look at the material as it's coming out, make an assessment. As we were looking at this, the good news is, and I included some of the graphs here, is that from the runoff of the water, we tested the runoff of the water and we did not see any toxicity in them. They're really below the toxic limit. Some of the high numbers we attributed to the plastics and the tires that are on site. That's why those numbers. What happens is when you spray water, the material itself is called desorption. The material starts coming out from, if you have contaminants, whatever it is, let's say benzene, toluene, trichloroethylene, whatever is on that side, because again, we're dealing with these huge piles. We started coming down, and you will be able to see it in the liquid sample. Luckily, we did not. All of them were below detectable limits. AQMD also sent their air samplers, and they were on site to measure, because we want to make sure our employees, although they have protective equipment on, whether they're even operating inside the dozers or outside, are safe. And all the air sampling, again, was below the AQMD standards. The piles, again, we did not notice any hazardous material on it. We did not run into any of those contamination. Where are we now? We had multiple meetings. I've been at the site multiple times. The last one was Wednesday with the fire chief. And the pile, which was at 70, went down to 39. We're now about 10 feet high. We do still have smoldering taking effect at the site. And when we do temperature probes around the site and we stick them down, we're still getting between 140 to 150, 160 in some areas. So we're working very diligently with the fire department to flip that pile and spray it with water. So our aim is to reduce the amount that we have to truck out of the site. But since the site is so contained and very small, it's really very hard. You have to be able to manage the debris, and you have to be able to move it to be able to turn it over. So we do have a meeting after this one with the fire department to evaluate when we can get out of the site. My estimate from last night and from my staff who are operating at the site at 10, 12-hour days right now is we're probably looking at the week, by November 12, we should be out of the site, demobilize, take all our equipment out, remove the base that we have established for our operation, and this way we can move out. The big question that comes in about the cost, we have some preliminary numbers. Initially, the fire department estimated in their letter to this board and to the mayor's office, we're looking at about $2.5 to $5 million. Right now, our expenditure shows about $700,000. We do have some other invoices haven't come in yet, so I don't know what the final number would be, because these are some estimates about the weight tickets we're getting from the landfill, and we know what our rates, we know what we're paying the haulers. But, so this is still a very preliminary number. We still have invoices we have not received from the industrial hygienist and the others who are on site, who are basically monitoring the waste. And so that could change, but we will update the board once that one comes in. Again, like I said, we worked very hard to increase the WEB, and 75% of the work is being done. I'm not aware what percent is it, the Bureau of Street Services, but this is the AE number 6, which we need the board approval on to pay CR&R. CR&R, again, only supplying 3 trucks, 4 trucks maybe on Saturdays, because they're already committed to other projects. So the bulk is coming from others. They're coming from Rodriguez Trucking and from Caesar Trucking. That's the bulk of the vehicles. And that's what are the next steps. I know at that time when we hear Commissioner Jacinto asked us to work with the city attorney as well as Commissioner Penning to see what we can. We just found out actually this morning before I walked in here that the gentleman was in bankruptcy court. The judge has dismissed it. So basically he did not approve his Chapter 11. We do have a meeting next week with the city attorney to really understand the
So he does not have that bankruptcy protection, correct?
Exactly, he lost that one.
Go ahead.
So that's why I just got the email before I walked in here this morning. So we are working with the city attorney to see what we can recover back from him. Also, the LEA has issued the cease and desist on October 17, so he's no longer supposed to bring any material. We are keeping an eye on the site, but also want to make sure that it's protected, that no more material comes in once we leave on the 12th. Unfortunately, I did notice when I was at the site, there were trucking coming to an adjacent lot from Cleanup America. I immediately contacted the LEA. The inspector just told them, they came down.
So the records go, the LEA is local enforcement agency.
Thank you, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
And so the local enforcement agency instructed him immediately to start removing his trucks, his containers from the other side, which he complied with. So that's where we are right now, and I will come back to the board with once we do the final.
Thank you, Alex, for the comprehensive report and follow-up. Commissioner Penning.
Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate the way that that sanitation has stepped in partnership with the fire department to address this unfortunate situation. I know you have hardly anything else on your plate right now, so. Yeah. But it sounds like it just was a fairly massive operation required to set up in a very short amount of time to address the fire. And I appreciate the way that you guys have gone about it. It's as you mentioned, very important to me that we get back what we're spending to address this from the business owner, or if not, from the property owner. And I know you're working closely with the city attorney to do so. Just a couple of questions on your expenditure and cost recovery plan on page 9. I notice it doesn't include the fees for the county that you're asking us, or is that built into one of these?
What we spent so far is included in the hauling and disposal.
Okay.
CR&R has agreed to go ahead and do the work with the understanding that the verbal approval we got from the Board of Public Works was sufficient to start the work because they knew the process takes a little bit of time. The $1.50 is in our contract directly with Waste Management, who runs also Bronte, so we don't have to pay it to CR&R. We only pay the trucking portion. So that is included in here. Again, these are estimate numbers.
Okay.
But we also done some other stuff we still haven't really added.
And then also to clarify, the AFE we're approving for CR&R, which is for $750,000. We may not actually end up using all that. It looks, at least on the basis of what you have here, as of October 29th, that we won't need that full amount.
For CR&R, yeah, absolutely. I don't see it.
Okay.
We do have to do a mid-year transfer to Bureau Street Services for that amount of trucks we've been using from them. So our accounting staff are working with their financial staff to come up with those numbers and we'll move the funds in the mid-year or end of year.
Okay. Thank you. Never a dull moment.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Commissioner Davis.
Also, I wanted, first of all, I thank you for your comprehensive report and the collaboration, as has been stated earlier. In terms of the outstanding invoices, you still have some that have not yet come in yet. And so I'm sure you've kind of anticipated them coming in, and I don't know if there will be a need for you to come back to the board again, given what you have out. I know you don't really have right now a clear grasp on how much those invoices are, but it is true that you are anticipating additional costs based upon those invoices that have not been assessed in this request. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes. What we're asking, though, is just for the hauling for CR&R, and I believe we have enough funding to us to pay. I don't need to come back to the board on that for that item.
Thank you.
And the $1.50 that was mentioned by Commissioner James and Repenning is really to pay the out-of-state fee that we pay for the county. Every time we take a ton of trash from Sunshine Canyon or from inside LA County to outside LA County, we have to pay the County of Los Angeles $1.50. So that's what the second one is for. And that one should be adequate to cover us too.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything further? So let's take agenda item number 6 first. Is there a motion on agenda item number 6 by Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioners Davis and Jacinto, that we adopt agenda item number 6? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. On agenda item number 7, is there a motion on number 7 by Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioners Davis and Jacinto on number 7? Any objection on number 7? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Any issue sending number 7 forthwith? We'll send number 7 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned this morning. Thank you, everyone.